Long ago, in the quiet valley of Lumeria, there lived a boy named Arin. Arin was not like the other children of the village. While they spent their days playing by the rivers and climbing tall pines, Arin loved stories more than anything else. He often sat by the village elders, listening to tales of forgotten kingdoms, lost treasures, and magical beings. His favorite story was about the lantern of Athros. According to legend, the lantern could banish all darkness from the world. But it had been lost for centuries. Arin's grandmother used to tell him that only the pure of heart could ever hope to find it. One night, after listening to the story for the 100th time, Arin whispered to himself, "Maybe I can be the one to find it." That thought never left him. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into years. By the time Arin was 14, he had already explored every hidden path of his village. But his heart yearned for something beyond. Then one autumn morning, the village woke to find strange footprints in the square. They were too large for a man, yet too light for a beast. The prints glowed faintly, as if touched by moonlight. The elders murmured nervously. But Arin's curiosity blazed brighter than their fear. That evening, he followed the footprints into the forest. The deeper he went, the quieter the world became. Even the crickets hushed. Suddenly, he found himself in a clearing where an old man sat by a fire. The man's cloak shimmered with patterns of stars. His eyes were kind, yet endless, like the night sky itself. "You are late," the man said softly. "Late?" Arin stammered. "Yes," the old man replied. "The lantern has been waiting." Arin's heart raced. "You know where it is?" The old man nodded. "But finding it is not the same as reaching it." "What do you mean?" Arin asked. "To find the lantern of Athros," the man explained, "you must walk 3 roads, the road of courage, the road of kindness, and the road of truth. And if I fail," Arin whispered, "then darkness will know your name," the old man answered. Arin shivered. But he also felt determination burn within him. "I'll walk them," he said. The old man smiled. "Then your journey begins at dawn." That night, Arin could barely sleep. His mind swirled with questions. Yet, deep inside, he felt ready. When the first light of morning touched the trees, he rose. The old man was gone. In his place lay a silver compass. Arin picked it up. The needle spun wildly, then stirred, pointing east. He tightened his cloak and set out. The first road was the road of courage. It began with a steep climb up jagged cliffs. The winds howled like wolves. Rocks crumbled under his feet. Many times, he nearly slipped. But Arin pressed on. Halfway up, he heard a cry. Looking down, he saw a young fox caught in a hunter's trap. Its leg was bleeding. Arin's heart ached. But helping meant risking his life on the ledge. He hesitated only a moment. Then he climbed down carefully. He pried open the trap, freeing the fox. The fox limped, then turned and looked at him with bright, intelligent eyes. It bowed its head, as if in thanks, as vanishing into the trees. Arin smiled faintly, then continued upward. At the peak, he found a black arch of stone. Words glowed across it, "Courage is the choice of the heart." He stepped through. On the other side, he stood in a meadow filled with golden light. The compass needle turned south. Aryan followed. The road of kindness was not as harsh as the cliffs. Instead, it was filled with people. Travelers from distant lands, beggars, merchants, children, and wanderers. Aryan soon realized this road was endless unless he helped those who crossed it. He shared his food with the hungry. He carried water for an old woman. He repaired a broken wheel for a merchant. Each act of kindness cost him time and strength. But strangely, with every good deed, his heart felt lighter. One evening, as he rested under a willow tree, the fox appeared again. Its leg was healed. In its mouth, it carried a small flower that glowed faintly blue. It dropped the flower in Aryan's lap and vanished once more. Aryan tucked the flower safely in his pouch. At last, after many days, the road ended at a crystal bridge. Across the bridge stood a mirror. In the mirror, Aryan saw himself. But not just himself, every act of kindness he had given shone around his reflection. He stepped forward, and the mirror dissolved into mist. The compass needle spun again, then pointed west. The road of truth awaited. Unlike the others, this road was silent. Too silent. No birds sang. No wind blew. Aryan walked for hours, hearing only his own footsteps. Then the ground trembled. Out of the shadows rose a figure. It looked exactly like Aryan. Same eyes. Same voice. Same scars. Who are you? Aryan asked. I am you, the figure said. But I am also the truth you hide. What truth? Aryan whispered. You dream of glory, the figure said. You want to be the hero who finds the lantern. But is it for the world? Or for yourself? Aryan's chest tightened. The figure stepped closer. You fear being forgotten. You fear being nothing. Aryan's throat burned with shame. Was it true? Had his quest been selfish all along? He dropped to his knees. For the first time, he admitted the truth to himself. Yes, he whispered. I wanted to be remembered. Tears filled his eyes. But more than that, I want the light to return. Even if no one remembers me. The figure studied him. Then it smiled. That is truth. The figure dissolved into starlight. The silent road brightened. Aryan rose to his feet. At the end of the road, he saw a gate carved from silver. Beyond it, a mountain glowed like fire. The compass needle pointed straight ahead. Aryan knew the lantern was near. He climbed the mountain slowly. Every step felt heavy, as though the world itself resisted him. But he pushed forward. At the summit stood a small temple. Inside, on a pedestal of stone, rested the lantern of Athros. It was simple in shape, but its light pulsed like a heartbeat. Aryan reached out. His fingers brushed the handle. A voice filled the chamber. You have walked the roads. You have faced courage, kindness, and truth. But one test remains. Aryan swallowed. What test? The lantern can only shine when given freely. If you take it for yourself, it will turn to ash. Aryan thought of his village. He thought of the fox. He thought of every soul he had helped along the way. He thought of his grandmother's voice, telling him the light must belong to all. Slowly, Arin lifted the lantern. He held it high. "I give this light to the world," he said. The lantern flared. Brilliant rays of gold burst from it. The temple shook. The mountain glowed brighter than the sun. Darkness fled across the valleys. Forests, rivers, and cities far away lit up as though touched by dawn. Arin wept, but this time with joy. He knew the world was safe. But when the light faded, he found himself back in the clearing where it had all begun. The old man sat once more by the fire. "You did well," he said. "But the lantern," Arin began. The man held up a hand. "The lantern is no longer an object. It lives in every act of courage, kindness, and truth. You carried it into the world." Arin blinked. So it wasn't about the lantern at all. The man chuckled softly. "It always was. And it never was." Arin tilted his head in confusion. "You'll understand when you're older," the man said with a wink. The fox trotted into the clearing. It sat beside Arin, its tail curling around his feet. For the first time, Arin felt whole. "Go home now," the old man said. "The world still needs your stories." Arin turned toward the village path. His heart glowed like the lantern had. When he returned, the villagers noticed something different about him. They asked what had happened. Arin simply smiled. "I found the light," he said. They laughed, not understanding. But Arin didn't mind. For deep inside, he carried the truth. That night, he told the children stories by the fire. Stories of courage. Stories of kindness. Stories of truth. And though they did not know it, the light of Athros shone in every word. Years passed. Arin grew taller and wiser. The children he once told stories to grew up and told them to their own children. The legend of the lantern lived on. But no one knew that the boy from their village had been the one who restored it. Except the fox. It often sat at the edge of the village, watching. Whenever Arin saw it, he smiled knowingly. One winter, when the first snow fell, Arin felt the call again. He knew another journey awaited him. For light must always be renewed. He kissed his grandmother's forehead. He hugged the children. He walked into the forest once more. The villagers wondered where he had gone. Some said he went to chase another story. Others said he followed the stars. But those who listened closely could sometimes hear his voice in the wind, whispering tales of courage, tales of kindness, tales of truth. And so the lantern lived on, not in temples or mountains, but in hearts. Every kind act lit it anew. Every truth spoken gave it strength. Every brave step made it shine brighter. Arin's name faded into time. But the light never did. And that was enough. One night, long after Arin had vanished from the world, a young girl sat by her grandmother in the same village. "Tell me the story of the lantern," she asked. The grandmother smiled. "Ah, the lantern of Athros. It is the story of how darkness was defeated." The girl's eyes sparkled. "Did a hero find it?" "Yes," the grandmother said. "But the hero gave the lantern to all of us. That is why we still see light, even in the darkest night. The girl hugged her grandmother. "Someday, I want to find it too." The grandmother kissed her forehead. "Perhaps you will, my dear. Perhaps you already have." Outside, the fox's silhouette passed through the snow. Its eyes glowed gently, as if remembering. The stars above shimmered brighter than usual. Somewhere, in the quiet of the night, a lantern still burned. Not in stone or flame, but in every heart that dared to shine. The little girl fell asleep dreaming of golden light. And so the story continued. For stories, like lanterns, are never truly lost. They wait. They glow. They guide. And those who follow them never walk in darkness. Not ever. The valley of Lumeria slept peacefully that night. The snow fell quietly. The fox curled by a tree, its eyes half closed. The stars whispered their ancient lullaby. And the lantern's light, unseen yet eternal, covered the world. Arin's story had ended. But the light of Athros would live forever. And that is how the world was never without hope. For as long as courage, kindness, and truth remain, the lantern shines.